This is just really nice for me to be here today because this is just more of a hangout. This is more like a little Christmas networking, little social, but also find out a little bit more about the place and the space that we're in right now and all the good work that's going on through yourselves and through the support that you've given to YABA and its connected organisations. So I'm going to leave that to the people that really know everything about why we're here and the great work that's being done. So you're going to hear a few speeches from a few people. Okay, first up, to share a few words, quite privileged to have him here representing YABA and GDPA, Nazir Afzal OBE, coming up here, sir.
No idea I was going to say anything, but there you go. I'm delighted to be here. I've paid tribute, of course, to YABA and to Sharon in particular. Just talking about Sharon a moment ago, she asked me to come a long time ago. I said I'm in London. She says, "You're coming, aren't you?" I said, "Oh, all right, I'm going." And she's a force of nature, and you need a Sharon basically to be able to make things happen. And we know that this wouldn't happen without her and the support of her team. So I want to pay tribute to all of you who work in this area and work in this field, and also particularly to you for coming out this evening on, well, 3 days before Christmas. And from my perspective, yeah, I'm very fortunate. I've been very privileged with my career over 25, 30 years, that people want to talk to me, particularly victims and survivors want to talk to me. And much of the work that I've been able to do has been simply because they've told me their stories and I've been able to act upon whatever it is that they found or whatever it is they saw. Attributes of a leader that perhaps we don't pay much recognition to is listening. And being an active listener, and I hope that that's what I've been able to do. Some of you will have seen the BBC film Three Girls, and the actor who played me was much more handsome. In fact, my wife's got a picture of the actor on the wall, which tells you everything that you need to know. Everything you need to know. And it really is a wake-up call to us, that there is criminality everywhere, that there is safety issues everywhere, that victims are everywhere. And I think, you know, just on the way here, an MP rang me up and said he's been approached by a couple of victims and wants to know what to do. And I said, well, what are you asking me for? I'm not a prosecutor anymore. And he goes, maybe you can open some doors. And I think that's what you can do when you're part of a network. And this is why it's so important to have YABA. It's so important to be part of the organisations in this room, is that you can actually support each other. When I was attacked, and I was seriously attacked by the far right, particularly to the point where I had a panic alarm placed in my house, I had a police officer outside my door for 3 weeks, I got 17,000 emails calling for me to be sacked and deported. Now, I was born in Birmingham, I don't want to go back there. But again, nobody will know that. Nobody will know that they came for me. And the point I make about those stories, I would not have survived those things. Resilience is a phrase we use quite frequently these days. You don't survive those things without your networks around you, without your families, without people who supported me. And they kept me going at a time when, quite frankly, it was easier to drown. Much easier to drown. And that's why it's really important that you build this. And you take this from this room and take it throughout Yorkshire and throughout the north of England. And I had a conversation with colleagues about the north of England. I've only been honorary Northerner now for 8 years, 7, 8 years. And when I'm in London, as I was this morning, they still look down on us. They give us the scraps off the table. I mean, I did question time a couple of months ago. I talked about the scraps off the table from Westminster that we get. We get their old trains. You know, whatever it is, they can spend £2 billion on Crossrail just like that. You know, we want electrification. Fight for it, you know? And unless we are together, unless we support each other, unless we network and build, we're not going to get there. And I know that we will. Thank you very much indeed.